right? And I get such mixed messages. I haven't tried to make any agents, but I get such mixed messages. What's your take? Is there a safe way to use agents? I mean, I'm hoping there is, because everybody's pushing them, but I'm constantly hearing people coming back with negative feedback. We started using agents and then we stopped using agents. What's your advice on agent use?
Figure out what problem you're trying to solve by bringing an agent in. And also, not all agents are created the same. So sometimes you can have a retrieval agent, which really is going out there, right? Like I have some retrieval agents that are going out and summarizing the news for me every single day, where then maybe you have other agents where they're going out and acting autonomously on your behalf.
For research, it would be awesome. Yeah.
And so there's also some pre-built agents, especially, like I said, we're a co-pilot shop. There's pre-built agents that are out there that can help you, through chat, be able to create solutions. So creating forms, for example. And I've been encouraging colleagues to use that. So say, play around and maybe instead of Slido, let's try this at our next meeting. And also, there's ones that are, help me plan my day agents. And so it can go and it can look through all of your different, calendar invites and emails that are coming up and say, here you go. You can use this to help you plan your day. Or how do you, there's a ton of different ones that are out there, right? The research agent, exactly like you mentioned, which is great. And I use that one a lot, especially if I'm researching different topics where I want kind of that deep research that it's done. You can use that with pretty much any LLM at this point. So I would say start with some of the pre-built ones if you don't want to build it yourself, and then the other thing that people recommend doing is comparing it, right? So have the agent do it versus just putting in a prompt and seeing what the results are.
Yeah, there's a distinct difference between the LLMs in their quality and their length and their tone and how long it takes for them to respond. It's quite amusing. And also what you have to do to shut them down. I've had that phenomenon a couple of times where I think they bust a fuse. Actually, I wanted to bring up one more topic that you'd already mentioned. I wanted to give you an example. You'd mentioned that I think the key to AI use is to be involved as a human being and learn not to shut your brain down and actually review the material. My son is actually studying business law, and he just won the national competition for mute court. And he was telling me about this, and he was at a disadvantage because the other team had access to the case a lot earlier than his team had access to it. And he said, I said, how did you win? He says, well, I read through their proposal, and I said, and the first thing I was looking at, I said, there's all sorts of mistakes in this. They did this with Claude. They had put in the wrong client in the case, and some of the conclusions were faulty, and all he had to do was point it out, and it totally frazzled them. And they kind of admitted, that they had prepared the case complete with Claude, but they hadn't reviewed it. So there's nothing wrong with using an LLM to prepare your business case, your legal arguments, although you have to be careful what information you share from a legal perspective. But you should be able to review. And I guess that's also the big issue with vibe coding. I hear that over and over with vibe coding. You have to have a fairly high level of engineering understanding to even be able to assess the output, right?
Yeah. It's funny. My husband's a software engineer. And so we talk about that, right? Where I'm like, I don't have that deep technical background, right? I've been involved in the space now for a number of years, right? A decade plus. But I don't have that engineering background, have learned kind of some of those like computer science, engineering principles. And so, yes, of course, right? You can vibe code a website, you can vibe code different solutions. But what you find too is you can quickly spot what's been vibe coded and what's not. And then there's parts of it that don't function, right? Like it's a button that you can't click. Now, of course, does this happen with software developers too? Yes, of course it does, right? Move fast and break things, but they can fix it.
Right? They know how to fix it.
Exactly. What happens when you're not building that code? And now I know what a lot of people are doing is, right, they just regenerate the entire code base. but then it creates a new version, and it might not be